But and I'm so curious to know if in any of your books or stories or characters have your plumbing experience on it, because some ideas come to my mind that it has some good horror material in there too.
Yeah, I must admit I went a little bit overboard with the construction aspects in book one. They use steel pipe and other bits and pieces, and I use more sort of construction knowledge, and they use solar panels to generate power and stuff like that to try and maintain a modicum of humanity. But it bleeds in later books. They use the technology and the knowledge to freeze the zombies, to train in killing them and stuff like that. So it inevitably bleeds through. Only in Hellspawn. My other series are kept completely separate from it, but my construction, it does come out in the Hellspawn series. I can't help it.
Exactly. Don't you want to make a plumber character? I mean, in these kind of shows on the TV that they have the I don't know, Criminal Minds kind of thing, it's always that guy. That guy.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a psychopath always. They get into your house and you don't know them at all. Like
that's the thing though, isn't it? You welcome strangers in and you really do not know who and what they are. But back to the character, the main character, Kurt Taylor, and his family. He is a plumber. He's actually on a plumbing job when he sees the cemetery emptying of the undead. And like I say, as a plumber, the main character had to be a plumber. It's kind of a self-insert. So, but he's a lot braver than I am.
You never know. You never know. Maybe if you were
I hope I never find out.
I hope I don't have to use my pen.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, that's about all I've got at the moment, a pen. I think we're both in trouble.
We're done. I have always thought that if there was a zombie apocalypse, I know all that running and hiding, I would just let them bite me and join the party. It's like
that's it though, isn't it? I mean, I've got a wife who's got sort of disabilities, and ultimately I would end up getting eaten trying to protect her. So it's and my dogs as well.
Yes.
There's no way I'd last more than the first day.
Yes, so I have always thought all that running, I'm not sure about that.
No, it's far easier just to lay down and get it over with.
Yes, exactly. Tell us a bit about your new release that you say you're going to release your book number 15, right?
Yeah, I've my main seller is Hellspawn. Obviously because it's the biggest series that I've got going currently. But the difficulty is over the years is trying to keep it fresh. I don't churn out books that I'm not entertained by writing. Yeah. Because if I'm not enjoying writing them, the readers aren't going to enjoy reading them.
Absolutely.
So it's taken a little bit of time. But yeah, Hellspawn 8 is several months into the Zombie. Obviously everything's gone. And the family have been through trials and tribulations. They've lost people, they've gathered new friends, new followers, different bands of enemies and allies have sort of cropped up in the book, so I don't want to give too many spoilers away. But there's a new faction that sort of presented themselves in book 7 that have now sort of declared all-out war on the living in book 8, and that they're sort of going forward. The next few books are going to be the living trying to fight back against the people in they're called the Nowhere Men. Basically, through some quirk, they are invisible to the zombies, and they use the zombies as an army. So it's going to be all out war between the living and the people that use the dead now.
Wow.
So yeah, I dot around in terms of my releases with what the story that grabs me at the time. So I might release one of my mutant books, and then I might release a Hellspawn, then I might release one of my Demon Apocalypse books. Yeah. There's no kind of pattern to my releases, which is holding me back to some degree, because I want to finish something, but my mind will not let me. It bounces from here to there and I've got no control over it. So yeah, Hellspawn 8, as I say, the situation was already dire, and it's becoming even more fraught now. It's getting bad.
Wow. Well, I think that you jump from one book to the other, and even in the releases, it's a good thing, because like that you also keep people's attention on you, you know, because they can also know different things about you, not only the series but the other books. I think it's actually a good thing that you do that. And if you have your inspiration like that, maybe it's the best way, just like you started writing, that it just flew like that. It's the best.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As I say, I could probably force myself to sit down and write through to the end of Hellspawn, but I wouldn't enjoy doing it, and I think that would bleed through into the story. So instead of fighting it, I go where my mind lets me go, and I write what my mind lets me write. You know, and yeah, I just roll with the punches now and see where it goes.
I think it's the best way of doing it. And do you, when you write, do you listen to music, or do you need to be completely in silence?
It depends. Most of the time, I prefer writing in silence. If there's a particular sequence that I know how to write and I know it from start to finish, I'll have music on in the background, because it won't interrupt the flow. But normally when I'm trying to think through the next stages of an area or a fight,
yes,
the music does put me off. You know, I know the normal answer from a horror author would be, you know, yeah, I listen to death metal,
yes,
and you know, I'm sort of headbanging. But no, I must admit, I prefer silence. You know, it's not the cool answer.
Yes, no, but I completely feel you. It happens the same to me. I cannot think if there's something in my ears. It doesn't matter that I'm not paying attention to it. I had a friend that when he was cooking, he didn't let anyone talk to him, and he always said, shut up, everyone, I'm creating. You know,
yeah,
and I feel,
but you are, though, aren't you? That's the thing. You are, and you know, sometimes you need silence to allow the thoughts to just, you know, circle in your head until they reach the paper.
yes,
You know, when you're creating it, you do need peace and quiet, unfortunately.
Exactly. And even, well, maybe my brain is even simpler than that, because even when I'm responding to messages, I can't have anything else talking to me, you know. They say women can do a lot of things at the same time, but I think I'm the exception that confirms the rule, you know.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's like, as I get older, I turn the volume down on the radio when I'm driving, when I'm trying to concentrate, because it does distract you.
Yes.
You know, I know it's supposed to be a joke, but when you're trying to concentrate on road signs and you've got, you know, Katy Perry blaring in your ear, you know, turning her down a little bit allows you to, you know, pay a bit closer attention to the road signs.
Yes. And when you listen to music, what kind of music do you listen to? Death metal?
Once again, no, I know the cool answer is, you know, heavy metal, death metal, you know, but I am a child of the rave generation. So for me, it's trance, it's house, it's techno, hardcore, anything electronic, you know, from the clubs of the 90s. And you know, that's basically my love. You know, Ibiza, all the Cream, Amnesia, all the sets from the DJs, Paul van Dyk, Armin van Buuren, all of those people. That is my. And once again, it's not the natural music that you're supposed to listen to when you're a horror author. You're meant to listen to Pantera and all the other, you know, the really sort of dark metals.
Yes.
But I've never. I can listen to it, but I don't enjoy it as much as I do the dance music. Yes. So I listen to dance music. Failing that, it's Sia. I absolutely adore Sia, and I can listen to her all day long quite comfortably.
Yes. Well, I'm not cool either, because I like jazz.
There's nothing wrong with that. It's never been my favorite, but it's, you know, it's got its own language and it's soothing as well. So I completely understand that.
Yes, I can blame my father for that, because he's a crazy. He's mad about jazz. Well, mad in a good sense. And I have grow with the trumpet in my ear, you know. And my mom saying,
"Well,
when you shut up the trumpet."
Yeah. Did you ever learn an instrument?
Yes, I play piano. I've been playing piano for a long time. And I would have, and I played the saxo for a while, but then life started and I had to leave it behind. And
but it's always something you can go back to.
Yes, absolutely. And I would love to learn to play the cello, because it's one of my loves. I love the sound of the cello. But as I can't, I have projected my frustrations on my child, and she's playing the cello now. So
oh no, you're living vicariously through your child.
Yes. I'm horrible, but she's playing it. And she's doing great.
Is she enjoying it though? That's the question.
Yes. No, she does. She
Brilliant.
does. Yes. She loves it, because it's something Yeah.
No, sorry, Ma. I was just gonna say, it's funny you say that, because my son actually DJs. So he plays and mixes the music that I enjoy. I never sort of got into the DJing side of it, but you know, the music I love, and my son plays all the music in the clubs. So you know, I've passed something down to him without knowing I passed it to him.
Well, I did it on purpose. Okay, so what if you had to look at the jumping to the movies scenes, are you a traditional horror fan, or do you like the new movies nowadays?
Honestly, I don't think there's been a great deal coming out that's been any good for quite some time.
I know.
I mean, I you know, you're obviously young, but I was
obviously
of the age when we had the I don't know whether it was the same over there, but we had the movies basically in like Blockbuster or similar kind of movie stores.
Yes.
And the top shelf was always filled with initially the naughty films and the horror movies, the 18 rated horrors.
They're all together.
Well, yeah, exactly. I don't know why, but you know, the store was quite small, so they kind of had to condense them out of the way of young hands. But you know, when my mum, you know, would take me to sort of hire a film, it would always be the non-naughty top shelf ones that caught my eye. So you know, it would be like Hellraiser or Neon Maniacs or The Blob, you know, or The Thing, all the 80s movies when they relied on practical effects. That actually brought you into the film. I'm not sure about yourself, but the CGI, nothing kicks me out of a film faster than obvious CGI. And you can't, you just sit there, you're like, whereas, you know, you've got Tom Savini, you know, the god that was behind the zombie makeup in the original trilogy and further films from there, like the 1990s remake. It was all effects. It was all practical effects, and it looked real. You bought into it, even though the technology was 30 years ago, 40 years ago. You can get deeper involved in those films than I can in ones with CGI, because it just, for me, it just pulls me out of the film when you can see an obviously computer created image transposed onto a film where people are trying to act with that computer generated image.
I know.
I'm fully, anything pre-2000s is my go-to to watch. Anything after that I will, but they really haven't done a great deal recently at all.
Yes, I think it's also because they have turned so commercial.
Yeah, exactly. You know, I mean, the budgets back then were a fraction of what they are now, but the movie was 10 times better. So they've ended up spending more money for a worse product.
Yes.
You know, and don't even get me started on the remakes.
Yeah, well, then that's horrible stuff.
They're, you know, the next Texas Chainsaw Massacre, which is a remake of the remake of the remake of the it's like, just come up with something original. You know, we've got ideas. Take some of the indie ideas.
All this technology, and all these resources and all of this, and we cannot come up with something new. Yeah, I know.
No, exactly.
Yes. I also think that there are things that they should leave behind. Absolutely. Like this kind of the Texas thing, and I don't know, Michael Myers, Voorhees, all this kind of they just leave it a legend, leave it non-finished. You know, you don't need to go, because you ruin it. You ruin it completely.
Exactly. If you leave it incomplete, you've got the mystique there of You know, people have the questions that stay with them forever. When it's all tidied up into a nice little bow, and you know, it's okay, it's nice to have a conclusion like that, but sometimes leaving the mystery there is part of the joy of it. You know, like the Thing back in the day, 1980s, when it came out.
Yeah.
And you've got, oh crikey, I can't even think of the two characters now, but you've got Kurt Russell and the other guy just sat there. One of them is the Thing, and that's it. It doesn't tell you what happens. It doesn't explain whether they get away and, you know, reach human population. You're left with the question of what happens next.
Exactly.
And your imagination can make that up. I mean, what finished it for me was when I saw they were remaking The Lost Boys.
Yeah, I know.
How do you remake The Lost Boys?
It's impossible. They cannot do it.
You know, everyone just gelled in the way they came across on screen. You know, you've got, crikey, I can't even think. I want to say Rachel Weisz, but it's not Rachel Weisz, is it? But you know, you've got the mother, you've got the older son, you've got the younger son. You know, you've got the dog, you've got Kiefer Sutherland, and the way that they dressed, the aura they had on screen. You know, even the non-main character vampires, they were all unique, you know, in their own way, and the magic that they made with that film that makes us be able to watch it 30 years later, they're not going to be able to capture that because they've not got the skill anymore. It's going to be horrible.
Yes.
That's my opinion anyway.
No, I think it's everyone's opinion as well. Any horror, well, and not only horror. I mean, I was so upset when they remake Jumanji.
Exactly.
I mean, Jumanji
the
was,
Robin Williams one.
Yeah,
is...
and it's Robin Williams. You cannot do it without him.
No,
it's horrible. And it's a video game, and they go to another world. And like, no, this is not Jumanji. Do another thing, a different thing.
Like you say, it's all commercialized. It's all about making money as much as they can milk from it, regardless of, you know, the product that comes out.
But that's because people buy it. Because if people didn't buy it, they couldn't do these kind of things. I mean, I watch all these movies from Netflix and Amazon Prime, and that it's easy while I'm working now because I'm reviewing movies and things. And let's try this one. I like demons. It's my favorite horror, you know, because it's the thing that I find more scary. And yes, and every time that something is exorcism or something like that, let's try this one. And they are awful. They are not scary at all because everything has to be pretty. I mean, a demon, it's not pretty. It's not supposed to be pretty. You know, I watched the last exorcism, and it was a good idea. That is this tormented police agent that she ends up working in a morgue, because she had a lot, you know, that this kind of dark characters that, okay, I have seen that a lot of times, but okay, I'll buy it. Okay, let's see how this goes. And they bring a corpse that it's an exorcised girl that burns down. And well, the demon, the thing is, the demon is there. And I'm not giving any spoiler because it's in the trailer. Everything that I'm saying is in the trailer.
I've seen the film.
Then she goes pretty. I mean, she should go uglier, and every time she seems like a cheerleader, you know, like, hey, look at me, I'm pretty, I have eaten 3 people, so now I'm prettier than before, you know. I was like, what? She's not as scary anymore. If she's pretty, she's not as scary. I don't care, you're a demon, you're not as scary. But that sells copies of the movie, and that fills the cinemas and all of that. And I was so disappointed because I thought it was very creepy at the beginning when she starts moving and she's so contorted, and I thought maybe this, and as the movie goes on, it goes worse.
She heals herself, doesn't she? So the wounds disappear and she just becomes a blonde girl.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, okay, I mean, I don't know. I think there's something very wrong with the movies from underground filmmakers nowadays are much better than the commercial ones, because I receive some of them sometimes and they are awesome. It's like, how creepy. This was creepy.
Exactly. I mean, I'm just trying to think. The last decent sort of exorcism film that I saw, I'm just trying to think of the name of it. It's on Netflix at the moment. I think it's got is it Eric Banner? Oh, crikey. But he's basically a sort of grizzled detective. I'm sure you've seen it. Is it Lion's Pen or Gorilla Pen? And it's dark and it's gritty, and you know, it turns out the soldiers that sort of discovered a tomb in Afghanistan, or is it Iraq or something like that, they bring something back with them. But it's exactly like you said. You know, it's the darkness, it's the brooding, it's the sort of degeneration of the person that's possessed with it, up until the point where, you know, the sort of like the fallen priest exorcise him. But when you've got it all Hollywoodified and prettied, it, you know, you've got sort of the original Exorcist, and she starts out as a little girl, and she gradually, you know, corrupts as the demon takes over her body completely. It doesn't work in the opposite direction. You know, you want people to become more scary as the demon takes its hold. So you're absolutely right. I've never kind of understood why, you know, you would become more. I mean, it is basically just so that Hollywood can make them prettier for sales. But the ones that scare me are the ones where you get worse and worse.
Yeah, exactly, because that's what it's scary. I mean, if I get prettier and prettier and I'm gonna end up being, I don't know, Nicole Kidman, then okay, then let's be a demon, you know. It's
I was gonna say, sign me up. Sign me up right now.
Exactly.